it's definitely gotten some ups and downs throughout the day. None other than highlighted by King Roger's favorite deck. It's the Immortal Paladin featuring Nozari, the dragon.
Yeah, this deck is one that, as we saw yesterday, can go the distance against pretty much anything. The combination of The Undertaker and Immortal Prelate just keeps giving you additional death rattles, and the Immortal Prelate ability gives The Undertaker all the death rattles that it previously had once it gets shuffled into your deck. So, as you can see, sometimes it can just give you 6 things when it dies, which is pretty insane. However, what it needs for this deck to be functional is time. And Viper's decks give him a lot less time than Control Warrior, as we've seen it against before.
Yeah, and the hard thing is actually is this Paladin deck. The other decks from Roger, they're perfectly fine in the field. It's the Paladin that's very questionable, to say the least. So he's going to need some help if he's going to take down a mid-range hunter, which has a lot of flexibility, can play all kinds of style. Aggressive, just regular mid-range, or even slow combos.
It's kind of funny, Roger with the 2 copies of Crystology in his hand at this point. We talked to him before the event, and I asked him, so I'm a little curious why you chose to play 2 copies of Crystology, because your deck has 4 total 1-attack minions in it, and if you ever draw one of them, your second Crystology only gets 1 thing, and if you draw more of them, it's just dead. And he was sort of talking through. He's like, maybe it should just be 1 Crystology.
Just don't draw it. Just don't draw any one time.
He's got both of them here, though. I mean, to be fair, in most matchups where the deck goes long, you have just such power that you don't necessarily need more from the Crystology. But if you are playing against a deck, say, like Midrange Hunter, and you have that sort of mid-game place where you're just missing a possible play, it can be problematic.
Yes. Viper, I think, will be trying to curve out and pressure the Paladin's life total. This Paladin does not have access to things like Consecration, so picking apart these 1/1s are going to be...
He has no way to kill anything, basically. The deck kills things with True Silver Champion and minions.
Taunts.
Yeah, you throw stuff in the way. That's the basic plan of the deck for Roger. He does have Blessing of Kings. He has Sound the Bells, some buff effects. But he's basically trying to build a big mech. And as the draw of Deadly Shot here for Viper is going to make any kind of just individual big mech in the way not a big problem.
Right.
And Viper knows there's no Consecration on the other side. There's no Wild Pyromance on the other side. There is nothing that Roger can do to stop his minions other than putting his own minions in the way.
Well, Roger does have the Bronze Gatekeeper this turn, but I think what he's really afraid of is Scavenging Hyena. How can he answer that? And the reality is he can't. If he plays Crystology, he'll end up drawing an Acolyte of Pain and one other minion.
Crystal Smith Kangor.
Crystal Smith Kangor, you're right. Yep. So he would have to utilize the coin or just dump one of the cards. Or just burn a card.
Yeah. And often with this deck, I actually played a bit with this deck when the deck was revealed, because I'm like, what's going on here?
Right.
This is the deck that I actually put the most sort of games into preparing to cast the event.
Of course you did.
And it's just sweet, man.
Gamers can be like, I can play this, or I could get more reps in with Control Warrior. Well, you made the job pretty easy here.
But one of the big things about this, you rarely want to just play kind of a naked Bronze Gatekeeper in this sort of situation, because it's important you're able to enable your other mechs into defensive tools, like specifically Mechano Egg. For instance, if Roger next turn coins up Mechano Egg, then he plays Bronze Gatekeeper on it. And this, by the way, to sort of interrupt my point, Roger choosing to play around the possibility of Scavenging Hyena by not actually deploying any minions that Viper can attack into.
Right.
That's why he did not use his hero power.
Yep.
But as I was saying, if he coins out the Mechano Egg next turn, he can then suit it up with the Bronze Gatekeeper, and then, worst case scenario, he gets Deadly Shot, and at least he has an 8/8. And he does have Ziliax, and he also has Lightforged Blessing in his deck. You can win the sort of race against aggressive decks just by slapping Lifesteal on giant monsters sometimes.
Right. The Robosaur that comes out of the Mechano Egg is a good example if you're able to utilize that. Roger has the Coin Mechano Egg. It's a 0-attack minion that might also complicate Viper's situation, because he wants to have minions with attack, and that egg is also threatening itself if you attach other buffs to it, like that Bronze Gatekeeper, or even just the Warrior.
Viper can just kind of go wide here, though. His Timberwolf. You can just play Timberwolf, Shimmerfly, Springpaw, and just play a bunch of stuff out. There's no AoE. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's like, all right, you've got nothing. I know you've got nothing. All you can do is put taunts in the way. I've got a deadly shot. And next turn, Roger, the best he can do is get out the Mechano Egg that he could, a turn later, suit up with Gatekeeper. He could find, that's Lightforge Blessing, though. So if he does get to that point, maybe he's in a reasonable position. But he is not really looking like he has much time. That's 10 more just from these minions coming into play next turn.
Yep. I think the true silver champion is more than warranted in this spot, which is something that I was thinking about if I'm Roger. If I'm not playing Crystology to draw Crystal Myth's Kangor, yes, you're going to overdraw, but at the same time, I might need that healing a lot earlier than you think you do because I just need to survive.
Right. Yeah, True Silver on a 1-drop does take off a lot of damage from the board. It leaves just 5.
Let me think.
5, you're at 21. Still not exactly the best case scenario, but, all these rush effects that Viper has, they're not getting any benefit. He's just playing essentially vanilla 1/1s.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically playing Odd Paladin at this point, right? Like Roger is going up against a token-based 1/1s deck that can't really put enough pressure unless they synergize with Rush.
And when I played any kind of Control Paladin against Odd Paladin, I really wanted to draw my Wild Pyromancer, I'll tell you that much. And there's none in Roger's deck.
Wild Pyromancer, Consecration, even just one. Roger was so greedy, he didn't put a single copy of Anti-Aggro.
It is pretty daunting to win this sort of matchup with as extreme a position that Roger has taken with his lineup. And here, there's no way for Roger to kill this that isn't Ziliax.
Yeah,
Viper knows. No Consecration. Nothing.
Whoa!
Is that Ziliax?
Yes, it is!
which is good, but the Ziliax is often pretty important to just have on your big stuff in order to, stay alive later on. Granted, he's got to play it here, or else he's dying, right? I feel like he is in a position where he can't really play a minion. Well, actually, just sort of thinking this through, can he play an egg this turn and then Ziliax the egg next turn?
I think you risk dying to kill
1, 2, 3,
command.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He would definitely die to kill command. Can he beat kill command? Anyway, if he Ziliaxes now,
I think he will survive. I don't know if he'll beat kill command, but he'll survive. He'll have 7 mana, up to 7 mana next turn. He can revive Ziliax next turn.
One of the key things is that he does have that Lightforge Blessing in his hand. So any big thing that is able to stick, it kind of has the Ziliax effect. We see a shake of the head sigh from Roger. This is, he's got to do it. Decides, all right, I have to take this out.
He does go back up to 17 life, take out the Tundra Rhino. Viper, I believe, only has 1 Tundra Rhino.
Yes, that is true. But Viper has 2 Scavenging Hyenas in his hand.
Yeah, the double Hyena is so scary. Not to mention that Viper gets 2 spells off these Shimmerflies. If he's able to get direct damage.
Yeah. And this does heal up Roger quite a bit.
It's not the best spell.
Going to go ahead and fire off the Vicious Scale Hide, get 1 extra damage in from his attackers here.
Yeah, I like it, squeezing in every single bit.
And those are 2 angry hyenas. And again, Roger's defense is minions. If he plays minions, then Viper attacks little minions into them and kills them with his hyenas. If he doesn't play minions, well, he's dead.
I don't really see really good positions from here for Roger. I don't think there's a way he can get out easily. He has the best play is actually to coin Kangors, but it doesn't really
do anything. He coins Kangors.
I mean, he puts out a Ziliax.
Yeah, he gets a Ziliax, and the Ziliax kills a 1/1. Then 2 other 1/1s attack into it. Then those hyenas each gain 6 attack. Or it just gets deadly shotted.
Oh, the deadly shot, you're right.
Or marked shotted. Pick your poison. Okay.
This is 18 damage showing.
You got nothing.
He has to. Oh no, he actually can just trade in with a deadly shot.
Yeah.
So this is actually lethal.
Yeah.
Wow. That's it. Viper is going to crush Roger game number 1 by turn 7. And this is quite possibly the premonition of what's going to be happening for the rest of the series here, because Roger was preparing for control matchups and Viper has mid-range decks.
Yeah, look at those hyenas go. Roger's Paladin just getting chewed up, and he won largely by punishing people's combo and control style lineups.
Okay.
Viper knew he was in his group, and he knew that he would have to beat Roger and didn't want to get a control deck farm. That's a big part of why he ended up in the lineup he did.
Yep. Well, we're going to go to a Summoner Mage Mirror. Roger does have some pretty greedy stuff. I mean, you saw Power Creation. He has 2 of them.
Yeah.
And a Hex Lord Malacras. I mean, these, again, are supposed to help him against the Warrior in the late stage of the game.
I do like me a Hex Lord Malacras, I can tell you that much. Not a Power Creation fan, but this matchup, though, Viper has his own somewhat unusual choices. He has the Arcane Keysmith, which we saw in that opening hand, which went back in the mulligan. Ooh, the Archmage Arugel is actually pretty nice in the mirror match because it doesn't really die quickly.
Yeah, this is a really nice heads-up tech here from Viper and Bunny Hopper. The Archmage Arugel is not easily answered and ends up becoming this threat that you don't really think about until like you start facing up against. It's like, oh, it's just going to draw a lot of value.
Here it is, Arugel here. And this mage deck, no spells, right? No cheap spells other than the Book of Specters. And now Viper's going to get a hit off of that most likely next turn. The only truly bad draw is Conjurer's Calling when it's in play,
right?
Because it's not Book, which you double the draws off of, and it's not a minion. You don't really want to Book on 3 because your hand's gonna be over full at that point from the Arugel. Just ping it.
Yeah, Viper's still looking to pick up his Mountain Giants.
Giant is certainly the best hit off the Arugel, and it will be Rabble Bouncer. I do appreciate the fact that these tournament accounts use all golden legendaries and non-golden normal cards. The legendaries look especially cool, but anytime there's a legendary that doubles something and you have mismatched cards, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, they did that specifically just to annoy you, Kibler.
I mean, they should either just make the decks all gold or all ungold, or just ban cards that duplicate that are legendary. So that you can't have mismatched
So
cards.
that you can feel more comfortable watching and casting the game.
Exactly. If I have to stare at this mismatched Rabble Bouncer, ooh, I'm going to lose my mind.
All right, well, you can look the other way for a few turns, or actually for quite some turns, because it doesn't seem like these Rabble Bouncers will be played anytime soon.
All right, I'm going to close my eyes. You cast by yourself.
Power Creation is an option here. Frost Nova is a pretty interesting choice as well, because this game can end up turning into a tempo war. And when I say tempo, it could also just turn into a race. Like you could develop something for really cheap with a Conjurer's Calling, and then Frost Nova to push damage.
Oh, that was a Fire Tree Witch Doctor, I can tell.
Oh, that's a Conjurer's Calling.
I heard. I could probably tell that just because the crowd reacted. They were very excited.
Oh, Kibler's actually closing his eyes. Wow,
I'm back now. I
thought you were just stating the obvious.
Oh, no. I was closing. I don't want to see those Rabble Bouncers. They're hideous, mismatched. Ugh.
Viper squeezing a little bit of damage. The first Mountain Giant is going to come in. There's no Voodoo Doll.
Giant Calling. Interestingly, Roger is choosing to play 2 copies of those Unseen Saboteurs. That is a big part of his lineup's plan to beat Warrior. There's Book of Specters.
No Voodoo Doll to answer.
Yeah, Viper does have 2 copies of Voodoo Doll, but does not have access to them here.
This is looking dicey.
It is. Yeah, and the Mage Mirror match very much about who can stick these huge tempo plays. The Mountain Giant plus Conjurer's Calling, obviously super strong. And there's Khadgar in the hand, too.
Book of Specters. I think he's trying to go for his own Giant here. Conjurer's Calling is thrown away. Crowd is loving it.
I wonder who they're cheering for.
Can't tell. Viper has no choice but to throw on something on the board to grab a little bit of tempo back.
Yeah.
Mind Control Tech seems to be his best course unless he wants to freeze the Giant, but that won't do anything in the face of Conjurer's Calling. And he also just saw his opponent play Fire Tree Witch Doctor, so there's additional chance that Conjurer's Calling is in the opening hand here. He saw that 2 cards were kept, It was Mountain Giant and the card to the right of it. And if he's hand tracking, he knows that there's a strong possibility of that.
All right.
This is actually fairly smart by Viper. He's playing the Khadgar, knowing that Roger wants to Conjur's Calling, so he's going to want to trade into that instead.
Yeah, I can tank 8 damage with the Khadgar here.
But Roger can just go big on the board. He's playing into Mind Control Tech at that point, but does that really matter?
I mean, he could get... the interesting thing is the Viper does have MC Tech plus Frost Nova available as well.
Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right. So he actually can't extend too far. He also had Rebel Bouncer and Mind Control Tech too. So even if it wasn't just a Frost Nova, he could stall a little bit. Roger definitely hesitating, not just immediately snap calling this Conjur's Calling.
I'm not going to take the bait. He's taking it slow.
Wow.
It's interesting.
I mean, and it's
the crowd loves it.
I mean, it's the right call to play around what Viper would have on the backswing, and he recognizes that Viper was pushing damage aggressively.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a spell discovered by the Fire Tree Witch Doctor. If Viper went for a tempo swing, Roger could have easily stepped into a huge trap.
Yeah, and having used his coin here, Viper only has access to 6 mana. That means he cannot crowd roaster this giant.
Right.
He could at best
Scale it.
But there are no Scale Worms.
Oh, you're right.
Viper is playing the non-Scale Worm version of the deck. He is playing the Arcane Keysmiths. He does have Voodoo Dolls, so that was a possibility of his giant getting dulled down and not having the opportunity with the Conjur's Calling anymore.
Yeah, it's a great spot. So then, what is Viper's best course of action in this spot? It feels like the pressure of Conjur's Calling is very hard to overcome. Maybe he plays a Rabble Bouncer, but then he reveals to Roger what he drew off the Archmage Rugal. Maybe it's Arcane Keysmith.
I mean, Keysmith opens up the possibility of like getting a Spellbender or something of that sort. This does at least prevent a attack into a Conjur's Calling. In part, I think that Viper may just need to hope there isn't the big swing here. But there it is.
Oh man, here we go. You ready for some fireworks?
All right. Well, what's in the box? Grave Horror, and Double Giant.
Rabble Bouncers will be really cheap, but Viper can't deal with all of these threats. And most importantly, he's going to have the attacker's initiative.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are 2 Mind Control Techs here, to be fair.
Right,
so,
and there's also a Frost Nova.
Yeah. So Viper can play Mind Control Tech, play double Rabble Bouncer for 0. No, you can't do that. Never mind. You have to play Rabble Bouncer. You play 1 Rabble Bouncer into Mind Control Tech into Frost Nova.
Yes. And ideally steal, most likely the Mountain Giant so we can get the good trade first. And then Roger on the back end.
I mean, he has Power of Creation, so he could reload his board. That Khadgar's not going anywhere.
Right. Or even just Conjur's Calling again.
Although the Power of Creation doesn't do very much if your board is largely full.
I wonder.
I don't think Viper has much of a choice. He has to cast Frost Nova this turn.
Yeah. Otherwise, he'll be dead.
Right.
He'll be very, very dead. He could try to, double MC Tech. If he double MC Techs, it still doesn't work.
Yeah, I think that's still too dicey.
Right.
The Frost Nova was picked for this very reason.
The arena is full. Mind Control Tech takes a Grave Horror. Frost Nova will at least slow the bleeding.
Right. But now that Mind Control Tech has revealed its head, Rogers picks up another Conjur's Calling. It's a little overkill, honestly.
Yeah, that's not really what he's looking for here.
So I think if he Conjur's Calling, he's maybe just trying to go for taunts. But he can't die on the backswing because he does have 8 life in the way, and I think that's not enough for Roger to deal, unless he Mind Control Tech and steals the other Grave
MC
Horror.
Tech taking the other Grave Horror would still not allow for lethal. That'll be 15, 16 with hero power.
All right, he's going for it. Oh, Grave Horrors again.
All right.
And in a way, I wonder if that's not what Roger wanted, because that gives Viper more things to steal. That way it has taunt to stop the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, there's another Rabble Bouncer that can come down now, plus a MC Tech. I mean, if Viper finds a Conjur's Calling himself...
Oh, this is cute.
Oh, he's going to ping so he can Conjur's Calling again? make one more guy.
Sure, just more taunts.
All right.
More big guys. Sure, why not? Chef Nomi Priest, eat your heart out.
Yeah, that's a board. Well.
Dude, I love Summoner Mage mirrors. Wow.
There's some crazy nonsense that goes on.
Nonsense is very discreet. Mind control tech, by the way.
He's got to attack and then play the MC tech. He's doing this, yeah.
It'd be hilarious if he stole the Khadgar from this position. It's like the one minion he doesn't want to take.
Well, we got walls and walls and walls here.
Yeah.
Oh, if he...
I think he was hoping for a splitting image.
Right. Well, it wouldn't trigger if his board is full.
I think he'll trade into Dragon Ball Scorcher if he found
yeah.
it. In this case, maybe a counterspell? He knows that there's another Conjurer's Calling.
Right.
Or Spellbender.
Spellbender doesn't work if his own board is full, though.
Oh, you're right. So it's Counterspell.
Yep. So now Roger's got to sniff out what this might be.
Yeah, everything looks pretty clean from here. Just the 7s lines up pretty nicely. 7s across the board. And all of a sudden, this board tension is starting to release with Roger vastly in favor. No splitting image. It was good sequencing for Roger to play around that. Has to account for the secrets first as well. If he plays Messenger Raven, he's accounting for Mirror Entity. This is a test for Counterspell.
Yep. Or Spellbender is countered. If that actually had been Spellbender, would Khadgar give Viper a bunch of extra small minions? I don't actually know.
I'll have to double check. I've never had Spellbender put it to me because I don't really see Arcane Q-Smith in the mirror, you know?
I don't know the answer to that.
Oh, wow.
I do know the answer to who is going to win this game, though, and the crowd sounds like they do, too, as...
Astromancer for one last Hail Mary attempt. Okay.
And there it is. Roger takes game 2. The crowd loves it. Evens up the series.
Oh, yeah. Now it's starting to...
Some pressure on both these players. And Roger is obviously the one who will have the momentum behind him from them. But Viper, with the Book of Spectre's Mountain Giant opening hand, is looking to kick this game off pretty quickly as well.
Yeah. Bomb Warrior up against the Summoner Mage. The Bomb Warrior does not have as much removal as the Control Warrior. Therefore, things like Execute on the Mountain Giants can be problematic. And Viper, assuming he hits on the Book of Spectres whatsoever, will be able to even play as soon as turn 3.
Yeah, the going second with Book Mountain Giant is just really, really powerful. As long as you don't hit a spell.
Right.
And, crucially, Roger did build this this warrior deck with the crowd we hear. No,
oh, that's
wow.
really bad.
I was gonna say that Roger, did build this warrior deck with other warriors in mind. It did not serve him quite as well as he needed it to in his match against Bloody Face.
Fast plays.
Warrior
here.
in general has shown to be sort of prey of this Summoner Mage deck, as it just puts out so many threats. And I'm not sure that the bombs that Roger's going to shuffle into his deck, unless they just all float to the top 6 times in the first handful of turns of the game, is really going to get the job done.
Yep. Roger does have Brawl, so if the Conjurer's Calling gets out of control, let's say Viper picks up the Conjurer's Calling and he coins it out, that's usually just game, but Roger does have that Brawl to answer at least the first wave.
Somebody order a bomb.
All right, bomb number 1, bomb number 2, thanks to the Elec going in the deck. There's another Giant.
And then for Viper's perspective, he does have to figure out if he wants to trade here in some capacity, because yes, going face with Mountain Giant often is how you win, just play another Mountain Giant, but in this case, it's not exactly as clear as you might think.
Yeah, and also whether Viper just wants to play the second Giant isn't necessarily clear, because the Giants are so important alongside Conjurer's Calling.
That's true.
To give you, high impact minions that you can use the Calling on and guarantee high impact minions. He may just want to play Twilight Drake here as another very difficult to remove threat, and just kind of play a little bit of board control. I imagine there's a decent chance he may want to kill the Elec, simply because one of the ways this could go terribly wrong is just a bunch of bombs going to his deck.
Oh,
all right,
boy.
Giant, going to the face.
And now Roger knows
Okay,
he has a
well.
50% chance to steal away the momentum. The crowd wants him to do it.
Yeah. I mean, this is the Gurubashi Arena right here. We saw all those Rastakhan's Rumble promos, the crowd going wild.
face.
And here it is. Who will win the brawl?
Kibler! 2 Giants have left! And only 1 Elephant Boy survives!
Who wins in a fight? 2 Giants or 1 amalgamate? No, it's not amalgamated. I forget his name. Augmented. He's literally right there. Augmented Boy. All right, and that was big. That was really big, and that was part of why I thought.
Oh my gosh. Wait, he has Blastmaster Boom. He's going to be able to win back tempo.
That was part of why I thought Viper might want to hold back, not just commit the second Giant, commit the Drake last turn, because by doing so, he puts himself in a position where he has the possibility to play Giant into Calling if he draws it. Now he's that brawl obviously was huge, and Roger, he had a 50-50 in part because Viper chose to go face. If Viper had cleared off a minion, he improved the chances of one of his minions surviving brawl as well.
Right. He did, by going face, he did shut off things like Shield Slam being away for him to help get back on the board.
It's also worth noting that's the one brawl in Roger's deck.
Really?
There's only a single copy.
Oh my gosh.
So
this guy likes to play on the edge of his seat. And a water bottle in hand.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
What to do?
Are you hydration bot?
Viper, I'm trying to think about his best play here. His best play for tempo is the Coin Astromancer. Astromancer has a 9-mana minion or 8-mana minion. At this point, it's his best power play to fight right back.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Astromancer's coming out.
There's a lot of high-impact minions.
8-mana minion. Tyrion!
Oh!
And Roger just played Harrison Jones.
He just played Harrison.
You see a little laugh from Roger there.
Hey, I mean, I think it's tit for tat.
Wow. This game has all the swings back and forth.
Blastmaster Boom with 2 bombs?
There are 2 bombs in the deck.
So the Boom bots can make some pretty big impact here. Wait a second. If Roger plays Blastmaster Boom, Viper has lethal. If you attack with the 15 damage, Voodoo Doll, and kill your own tune, you can swing with the Ashbringer.
He does.
And Roger knows this. So he's like, do I really have to play off curve? And if he does want to survive, yes.
What now?
You know when I was like, there's some pretty good minions at 8 mana?
Yeah.
That's one of the best ones.
He could have gotten Hyreek. Would have been a little bit worse.
Yeah. Just by a margin. I think, Roger, it's time for him to gut check here. Oh, yeah. He goes for it.
All right.
The crowd is silent. They're hoping Viper doesn't see it, but I don't think Viper
I
is.
think he does.
I think he's too good of a player to miss this.
15 damage on the board. He's looking.
Oh, he's not acting immediately, Kibler. I don't think he sees it. He doesn't see it.
He may not.
No, he sees it. He sees it. Come on, Viper.
Yeah.
Okay, so the idea is that Voodoo Doll. Okay, he's
He just hovered over it, I think.
Oh, he gets it. All right, he knows.
Is it enemy minion? No.
It's any minion whatsoever.
I think he may be confirming this.
Oh, wait, is it enemy minion? You might be right. You're having me questioning it.
I think he's converting. No, you can. Yeah, you can choose any minion. Okay. And there it is.
Right. That mountain giant
makes his final sacrifice, and Ashbringer comes in despite the brawl. going Roger's way and killing both of his giants. Viper takes game.
Going to go to Warrior. Warrior against Rogue is generally a good matchup for the Warrior.
Well,
that being said, I mean, these are a lot of differences in the normal stuff that you see.
yeah, the normal matchup for Warrior against Rogue is typically you're thinking Control Warrior against Tempo Rogue. This is Bomb Warrior and sort of Bomb Control-ish Warrior because Roger's lineup is built to beat other Warriors, so it even has Elysiana and Baleful Banker despite being a Bomb Warrior deck.
Right.
Whereas Viper, with this Miracle Rogue deck, he has a lot of tools to play a very long game. He even includes a copy of Togwaggle Scheme, which can be used in combination with Togwaggle himself to put a bunch of extra Togwaggles in your deck and Wondrous Wand them out and keep playing Togwaggles and do all kinds of craziness that makes it very hard for your opponent to ever run you out of resources. Roger with a full heap.
Yep, Viper choosing the good old strategy, keep the Auctioneer. Perhaps the memory of killing all day fresh in his mind.
Yeah. And Roger, he can possibly just coin out an Elec into a Clockwork Gnome here if he wants. Try to go with the Tempo plan.
This hand looks like a 2014 Hearthstone hand.
This hand,
2015.
How many World Championships has this hand won?
At least 2?
I think it's just 2.
Because the third one from Tom.
There were no fans. Or no, there were no
Auctioneer and
auctioneers
Tempo Rogue for Tom 60229.
or fans.
Yep. And I believe Osaka may have played Sprint in his Oil Rogue.
Yes.
Augmented Alec, getting that extra shuffle in, and Viper, a little bit of pressure, still awkward draws. This is the punishment, I guess, for not having that coin to smooth out the curve, and more importantly, Viper having that Gadget Stand keep, which did not pay off.
Yep. Fan will take out the Elec, at least finds a Shadow Step. Not good now.
Yep. At the same time, Roger comes up on a slightly awkward turn.
Yeah, he did use his coin, and his only 4-drop is that Militia Commander with no minions on Viper's side of the board.
Yeah, I think he was anticipating Viper to play something by 4 mana.
Ha! Viper's draw is too bad for Roger's draw to be good.
He played right into my terrible draw.
Yes.
But Roger's power spikes on 5 onward is going to be very substantial. And also, one thing to note is that any chip damage Roger can get in is going to be pretty scary for Viper because he is a deck that likes to draw cards.
Yes.
You know, Tempo Rogue does draw a lot, but they're kind of like a stop-go with their draw.
2-5, your turn. I like this from Roger. A lot of people might think, okay, well, this is a removal spell. I want to hold on to it. No. Roger is very much playing a tempo game and needs to kill Viper. And this is one of the reasons that this version of Warrior, not necessarily specifically Rogers, but Bomb Warrior, has been pretty popular among some of the players in this tournament because it can beat decks that are built to beat Control Warrior. A lot of decks that are built to beat Control Warrior, like Roger's own lineup, for instance,
right,
are less effective at dealing with the pressure that Bomb Warrior can put on.
There's going to be a pretty important turn here for Roger because Viper, I think he's going to go in with the Van Cleef soon.
And Roger's deck, you know, he does not have the executes we mentioned before. He has a single brawl. He has shield slams. Those are not great at dealing with an enemy that gets really, really big.
Yeah.
He
Darius
won't
Crowley.
defend Gilneas, though.
6'5", pretty substantial.
Backstab both damaged minions.
Oh, it's not going to do anything against damage. Viper has Ethereal Conjure to start things off, but he has Ethereal Conjure sap Edwin of himself.
Yeah.
Though the sap is problematic against rush minions.
Right, doesn't do that much.
Roger's very resilient against this.
Will Lackey walk the plank, both damaged.
It's just taunting him, the fact that all of these minions are damaged. Headcrack and Cannon Barrage, very useless. I think Viper has only one legitimate choice in this situation. One thing he can do is Shadow Step this, play Van Cleef, Goblin Lackey again, have it rush and trade to Darius Crowley. Another Shadow Step.
Ooh. Preparation, too.
Prep is definitely an interesting one, especially if his opponent curves out to boom.
He has 2 Auctioneers in hand, so preparation has to be at least kind of exciting.
Yeah,
the preparation also sets up prep into walk the plank if a big thing comes down next turn. It's Big Van Cleef.
It's Big Van Cleef. It's an 8/8. 10/10. Excuse me. I keep forgetting the Shadow Step minion played again.
Yeah. Now, Roger was the one putting some pressure on. The pressure's on him. I think that's all of the rush minions, right? Both of the militia commanders. Yep, that's just a 1/2. Both the militia commanders have been played and drawn, or
Dude,
drawn at least.
This prep walk the plank is nutty. Are you serious?
Yeah. Backstab into prep walk the plank.
Dude, Viper's going to make a big push.
Coming in for 10.
Edwin Van Cleef. Okay.
Bomb goes off. That's actually good for Viper, because Blast Master Boom is one of the best ways that Roger could try and get back into this game.
Well, he needs to take down this Auctioneer as well.
There's a slam. So now both Auctioneer and Van Cleef are must kills, and Roger can only kill one of them right now. He has Zilliax. He could try to, say, slam the Auctioneer or kill it with his militia commander, just play a Zilliax.
If he doesn't kill this Auctioneer, I think he's guaranteed dead. If he doesn't kill the Van Cleef, there's like this weird chance where he might be able to find some like Brawl or other removal tools. But again, because he has Shield Slam and not Execute, I really don't find that many ways for him to deal with this.
And we talked a little bit about how that opening hand from Viper could have been in multiple World Championship decks. Edwin Van Cleef has won every World Championship so far, and Roger is the last player standing in the way who can prevent that from being a absolute guarantee this year going into the top 8. It looks like Edwin himself may be defending that streak.
Roger has to make a decision very soon. Slam.
Finds Brawl.
Are you serious? Here we go.
Another huge Brawl for Roger.
The moment of truth. Oh, he kills the Van Cleef, but the Auctioneer survives. That's still really big.
Lives.
That's still really big.
Yeah.
Roger lives to fight on for at least another turn or two, but this is still going to be pretty strong.
Yeah, Lackey will get Shadow Steps, drawn their card. Questing Adventurer.
Oh, boy.
You thought Van Cleef was bad.
And it's going to start all over again.
As he's just going to Togwaggle scheme. Doesn't need the endless threat. Goblin Lackey, pump that up. Backstab, kill that Lackey. Get that Questing Adventurer going.
Jeez. The pressure is never ending. The Miracle Rogue. This is Viper's specialty deck.
You just brawled that board. This board is even worse for you, and you have no brawls left in your deck. Elysiana. This story deserves a new ending, not like this.
I think Roger might have to Omega Assembly here.
Yeah. Finds Spark Drill. Does that do anything?
It's removal tools.
He already has Militia Commander. He can't fit them both in. He does get a minion with Rush, right? That's a 6/6 Questing. So I think he can kill Questing with Spark Drill.
Spark Drill kill the Questing, but he's leaving up Auctioneer again.
Yeah.
But Viper's used a lot of his spells.
And there it is. Viper takes down Roger 3-1. And Taiwan will not have an opportunity.
Also set